Hi and welcome to another edition of TV Rotorua's Speedway Scene. Well, it's been a hectic Christmas New Year period at the Rotorua Stock Car Club's SG Equipment Paradise Valley Raceway, where every year in mid-January the New Zealand Welding School World Invitation Superstock Championships are held. Now, this event has been happening in Rotorua for the last 6-7 years, but it all began 25 years ago in Palmerston North when an Englishman by the name of Chris Elwell won that very first championship. It was many years later before a young man by the name of Frankie Wayman Jr. became just the second Englishman to win the title, and he's gone on to win it another couple of times since. So, triple champion Frankie Wayman Jr. He's based himself here in Rotorua whenever he travels to New Zealand, and once again in mid-January he was here in Rotorua to contest the World 240s. We caught up with him at Paradise Valley and asked him why he built his own car in England and shipped it to New Zealand.
Well, I've been coming over for quite a few years racing, you know, obviously borrowing cars, and I really wanted to have a good shot at the New Zealand champs, and it was hard to get a good car to do every meeting, so I decided to take the plunge and build my own. And you know, I build cars in England for a living, that's what I do, race cars, so I thought I'd have a go.
So the likes of Frankie Wayman Jr. and other English drivers come here each year to contest this World 240s. Like every major superstock event, there are 26 drivers in the finals, but when you take this year in Rotorua, 4 British drivers, Craig Finnegan, Mick Harris, Tom Harris and Frankie Wayman Jr., plus defending champ Scott Joblin and also Rotorua's Pat Westbury have pre-qualified, the battle for finals positions is extra intense, with only 20 spots up for grabs. Qualifying racing on the Friday night at the World 240s was fairly full on, with plenty of big names missing out, including recent New Zealand champion Dale Avers. But making the cut for Rotorua, well, it was a good number. We had Pat Westbury pre-qualified, Alan McRobbie, Mark Osborne, Ross Ashby, David Ellsworth, Mark Decky, Scott Hewson, Stan Hickey and Ken Hunter. Now, the name Hunter is one that's been around the speedway scene in Rotorua for many years. Barry Hunter was a big name through the 80s along with his brother Darcy, with Barry going on to win the New Zealand champs in 1990. More recently, Darcy Hunter Jr. has won this World 240s event twice, and now his younger brother Ken is piloting the 37R machine. We caught up with him before the finals and asked him how he felt his qualifying racing went.
Oh, we had a superb run, you know. We probably had one of the cleanest runs of all the cars out there, and we're actually quite wrapped with that. Looking good. The car feels beautiful, as good as ever, and just hopefully I'm up to scratch with it.
So as Kenneth Hunter alluded to, his qualifying racing was superb. He topped all of the point scorers through the night, but it wasn't to be quite as good for him when it came to the finals. In fact, for all of the Rotorua drivers, things fell over relatively quickly through the night. The opening race saw Scott Hewson from Rotorua up in the podium, but in the second race it all fell apart for him. He was taken out relatively early. Likewise for most of the other Rotorua drivers who slowly fell away through the night, whether it be through mechanical failure or racing incidents. Mark Osborne, the biggest sufferer, being put heavily into the concrete wall in the third heat by Jack Myers and suffering a concussion, which could possibly rule him out of the team's racing in a few weeks' time. But for Rotorua, not quite so good. Stan Hickey being the top local, finishing in 6th place, with the top 5 spots all taken by Palmerston North racers. In a case of deja vu, Scott Joblin, the defending champ, and Peter Rees, who tied for 2nd and 3rd place at the New Zealand champs just 2 weeks ago, the same 2 drivers tied for 1st. This time though, Peter Rees winning the runoff and being crowned the new World Superstock champion. He won the World Stock Car Champs in Rotorua a few years ago, and we first asked him, he must be stoked with picking up another World Championship.
Yeah, it's actually still sinking in, but no, I'm really ready. It was a bit of a sombre end in the end, wasn't it, with the incident with the wheel coming off Scott's car. Until that stage, what did you have in mind? What was the plan? Well, he's faster, and he's faster than me, and yeah, that wheel was a scary moment, but no one got hit, luckily. I just thought I could just hold him up with my back bumper if I got away, and he didn't take off.
And from the victor to 2nd place, Scott Joblin lost the runoff.
Oh, a little bit disappointed in the runoff, but still to get 2nd overall. Happy about that. Good show. Unfortunate the wheel came off, mate.
Yeah, real unfortunate. I hope the person who gets too injured had a hit, but yeah, unfortunately that's the way it goes in contact racing.
So the top 3 in the World Superstock Championships, all from Palmerston North: Peter Rees, Scott Joblin and Graham Barr. Congratulations to them. Frankie Wayman Jr. once again the top overseas driver, finishing in 7th spot. We caught up with Craig Finnegan from England after the racing to find out from him how it all went.
It was alright. It's a bit unlucky in the second race. She had a brake pipe off and went flat out into the wall at the bottom, but that's the way it goes.
What's the difference between the racing here in New Zealand and Great Britain?
It's a lot rougher out here. It's a lot tamer racing back home. Not as much contact, but a little bit faster.
So the New Zealand Welding School World 240's all done and dusted for another year, but it will go another round next year. Peter Rees will gain automatic qualification. I mentioned earlier on that New Zealand champion Dale Avers missed the finals. Well, he then went on to win the second tier championship, which gives him automatic qualification next year. So a little bit of a silver lining for the 1NZ. Let's take a look at what is coming up at SG Equipment Paradise Valley Raceway. Well, the next big event is a 2-nighter for the youth. Yes, Mini Stocks in Paradise happens mid-February. We've got the Central Auto Dismantlers World of Stocks event coming up. And of course, we wrap up at the end of the season at Easter with the Hickey Contractors Easter Extravaganza. Still plenty of great racing action, and we're going to take a little bit of a look behind the scenes on TV Rotorua Speedway scene over the next few weeks. So join us then. For more details about the racing, check out our website, rotoruaspeedway.co.nz.